I'm about to share a statistic with you that might shock you, but it's one that's driven everything we do at Bow Team for over a century. 90% of people who renovate their kitchens regret their decision within 2 years. Let that sink in for a moment. 9 out of 10 people who spend anywhere from $50,000 to several $100,000 on their dream kitchen end up disappointed, frustrated, and often planning another renovation before they even finish paying for the first one. Now, you might be thinking, that can't be right. I see beautiful kitchens on Instagram every day. I watch home renovation shows where people cry tears of joy when they see their new space. And you're absolutely right. Those kitchens are beautiful. The problem isn't that they're ugly. The problem is that they're not them. Let me explain what I mean by walking you through the traditional kitchen design process, because I guarantee you've either experienced this yourself or you know someone who has. So you decide you want to renovate your kitchen. Maybe you're building a new home, maybe you're tired of your current space, maybe you saw something on Pinterest that made you think, you know what, I want that. So you start shopping around for designers or contractors, and usually the first question they ask you is almost always the same. What style do you want? Modern, traditional, farmhouse, transitional? Then comes question number 2, what's your budget? Or if they're sophisticated, what do you want to spend on this project? And question 3, let's look at some finishes. Do you prefer quartz or granite? Shaker cabinets or flat panel? Subway tile or something more dramatic? Sound familiar? This is how 99% of kitchen projects begin. And this is exactly why 90% of them fail. Here's what's happening in this process and why it's fundamentally broken. The designer is asking you to make aesthetic and financial decisions before they understand anything about who you are, how you live, what you value, or what you actually need from your kitchen. It's like a doctor prescribing medication before asking about your symptoms. It's like a personal trainer designing a workout routine before understanding your fitness goals or physical limitations. It's backwards, and it's why so many people end up with kitchens that look great in photos but feel wrong in real life. Now, let me tell you about Sarah. It's not her real name, but a very real client who came to us after exactly this experience. She had spent around $80,000 on what she called her Pinterest kitchen just 3 years earlier. She had white shaker cabinets, Carrara marble countertops, subway tile backsplash, farmhouse sink, everything that was trending at the time. It's beautiful, she told me during our first consultation, but I hate being in it. When I asked her why, the floodgates opened. The white cabinet showed every fingerprint and smudge, and with 3 young children, they looked dirty within hours of being cleaned. The marble countertops had stained despite being sealed because she loved to cook with turmeric and red wine. The farmhouse sink was too shallow for her large pots and pans. The island was positioned perfectly for photos, but created a traffic jam every morning when the family was trying to get ready for school and work. But here's the most telling part of her story. When I asked her about the original design process, she said, "The designer never asked me how we actually live. She just showed me pictures and asked me what I liked." Sarah's kitchen failed her because it was designed for a generic person living a generic life, not for Sarah and her specific family with their specific needs, habits, and lifestyle. This is the fundamental flaw in traditional kitchen design. It starts with aesthetics and works backwards to try to fit your life into a predetermined look. It's like buying a beautiful dress in the wrong size and then trying to alter your body to fit it. At Bow Team, we've spent over 100 years learning this lesson, and sometimes the hard way. We've won international design awards from Red Dot, Arca Products, and IDS, not because we follow trends, but because we've mastered something much more difficult: creating spaces that are extensions of the people who live in them. Our process is completely different. We don't start with style books or finish samples. We start with you. We call it identity-driven design, and it begins with a simple but profound shift in thinking. Your kitchen should be designed around who you are, not around what's trending on social media. So let me give you a real example of how this works. We recently designed a kitchen for a client I'll call Fleetwood, a successful bachelor living in a high-end Dallas condo. When most designers would have immediately started showing him pictures of masculine kitchens with dark cabinets and industrial finishes, we started with questions. How do you begin your mornings? Fleetwood told us he's not a morning person and usually grabs coffee on his way to work. Do you cook? Rarely. He travels frequently between Dallas and Colorado and eats out most nights. How do you use your space? He loves to entertain. His condo is where he hosts colleagues, friends, and dates. The kitchen needed to be a conversation piece and a backdrop for socializing, not a functional cooking space. What matters to you in your environment? Clean lines, minimal maintenance, and spaces that reflect his success and confidence. Now, based on these answers, based on who Fleetwood actually is and how he actually lives, we designed a kitchen that was perfect for him. We specified mid-level Miele appliances instead of the top-of-the-line models because he didn't need professional-grade cooking features. We invested those savings in integrated LED lighting systems and handleless cabinetry that created the clean, minimalist aesthetic he craved. We used Dekton for the cabinet doors to achieve the masculine, confident vibe he wanted, and created an asymmetrical fluted backsplash that became an instant conversation starter. When we walked Fleetwood through the renderings, he was blown away, not because the kitchen was beautiful, though it was, but because he could see himself in every single detail. The space felt like an extension of his personality, his lifestyle, and his aspirations. Now, this is what identity-driven design looks like. And this is why our kitchens don't fail their owners. But here's what I want you to understand. This approach requires a fundamental shift in how you think about kitchen design. It requires patience, introspection, and a willingness to prioritize function and personal authenticity over trends and status symbols. It also requires working with designers who understand that their job isn't to impose their aesthetic vision on your space, but to translate your identity into a physical environment. Most designers can't do this. They're trained to think in terms of styles and trends, not psychology and lifestyle analysis. They're more comfortable showing you pictures than asking you deep questions about how you live. And frankly, most clients aren't prepared for this approach either. They come to us expecting to flip through magazines and point at pretty pictures. When we start asking about their morning routines and their relationship with cooking, they're sometimes surprised. But here's what happens when you embrace identity-driven design. You get a kitchen that not only looks beautiful, but feels like home from day one. You get a space that supports your actual lifestyle instead of fighting against it. You get a kitchen that becomes more perfect for you over time, not less. You also get something else that's incredibly valuable: confidence in your investment. When your kitchen is designed around who you are, you don't second guess your choices. You don't look at other people's kitchens and wish you had made different decisions. You don't start planning your next renovation before you finished enjoying your current one. This is why we can offer a lifetime warranty on our cabinetry. This is why our projects range from 4 to 8 months instead of 6 weeks. This is why our minimum investment is $50,000. Because creating a kitchen that truly connects with your identity, a kitchen that becomes an extension of who you are, requires time, skill, and unwavering commitment to quality. So here's my challenge to you. Before you start looking at pictures of kitchens, start looking at yourself. Ask yourself the hard questions. How do you actually live? What do you actually need? Who are you when no one else is watching? Because the kitchen of your dreams isn't the one that looks perfect in a magazine, it's the one that feels perfect for your life.